Page 95. This is a talk-through of chord inversions to prepare you for inversion transfusion on page 102. Here on page 95, we'll read together for a while. To get you started, look at your most obvious three-note chord form found on the third, second, and first strings of your banjo. That would be the three-note open G chord. You should be in G tuning, of course. With your banjo in hand, pluck those three open strings, like I just did. All three fingers, strings 3, 2, and 1, no fretting hand involved yet. If you took my advice and learned the names of those open strings, you should know that those three notes from lowest to highest pitch are G, B, and D. G, B, and D. Now stack them up. Low pitch on bottom, high pitch on top. So as you look at this diagram where it says high D, middle B, lowest G, we're actually starting at the bottom, lowest G. The root of the chord, being G, is in the lowest pitched position. The next highest pitch is middle B, and then high D. G, B, D. Known as a root position G chord. Now, restack those notes, putting the middle note B on the third string, the high note D on the second string, and take the lowest G up an octave to high G at the first string, 5th fret. So let's see how we would do that. We want the middle note B to be moved over to the third string, and it has to match that pitch of open B. So third string open is G. We have to work our way up that third string until we arrive at third string B. So it's G open, first fret is G sharp, second fret is next letter after G sharp, A. Next fret is A sharp. And then the next fret after A sharp is next letter of the alphabet, B. There it is. So we're transferring open B to third string, 4th fret. Place your middle finger there. Then we want to move the open D from the previous chord over to second string D to match that pitch. Second string open is B. Second string first fret is B up to C. Then second fret of that second string is C sharp. C sharp is followed by next letter of the alphabet, D. There's the matching pitch. So far we have B at third string, 4th fret, played with your middle finger. And then D at second string, 3rd fret, played with your index finger. And then finally that high G we already mentioned is at first string, 5th fret with your pinky. So you got third string, 4th fret, middle finger. You got second string, 3rd fret, index finger, and high G, first string, 5th fret, pinky. And that ends you up with a G chord F shape. Because the F chord was way over at the 1st fret, if you move it up to 3rd fret, you get that other form of G chord. This is a G chord in the first inversion. And I abbreviate that as INV period 1, Inv 1. And finally, one more restacking. Move the middle D from second string. We're now talking about the chord we just found. There's my D on second string, 3rd fret, to 3rd string, 7th fret. So now my index finger will be at 3rd string, 7th fret, same pitch on a different string. Then move the high G from 1st string, 5th fret, over here, to 2nd string, 8th fret, over here. Same pitch on a different string. So far we have now a D note on 3rd string, 7th fret, index finger, and then G note on 2nd string, 8th fret, middle finger. And then we're taking the B from the previous G chord, which was at 3rd string, 4th fret, shift that up an octave to high B at 1st string, 9th fret. And your full next highest G chord looks like a D shape at frets 7, 8, and 9. I didn't want to take up all the tape time with all those chromatic calculations, but if you need to confirm it for yourself, go ahead and do those chromatic scales on your 3rd, 2nd, and 1st strings. So one more thing I'll mention is that the next highest G chord beyond this D-shaped chord is a bar at 12th fret. Just a high G chord, same note configuration as where you started. You have open, G, B, D, and then you have 12th fret, G, B, D, a full octave higher. So let me run those 3 inversions of the G chord in order now. I'm going to count to 4, and I'm going to hold each chord for 2 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. Open G, 2, G, F shape, 2, G, D shape, 2, and then G bar, 2. Let's reverse direction. G bar, 12, 2, G, D shape at 7, 8, 9, 2, G, F shape at 3, 4, 5, and then finally back at open G where we started. Once again, inversion-wise, that's G root position, G inv 1, inversion 1, G inv 2, inversion 2, returning to root position an octave higher. I'm going to read now about a little more than halfway down the page where it says, keep in mind, that paragraph. I'll start there. Keep in mind that your open G chord is equivalent to a 3-string bar shape. Therefore, the 3 inversions of C begin at bar 5, because we know from our past studies that the bar chord at 5th fret is a type of C chord. Happens to be a root position C chord. I got off on a tangent. Let me start that sentence again. Therefore, the 3 inversions of C begin at bar 5, root position C. Next is F shape at frets 8, 9, and 10, inversion 1. And D shape at frets 12, 13, 14, inversion 2. Your lowest C chord the first C chord you ever learned, is second inversion when plucked on those same three strings, strings 3, 2, and 1. Now this same situation applies to all inversions of D chords, just 2 frets further up from the C chords. So this is not in the text, but let's run the D chords. Start at 7th fret, D bar, root position, and then an F-shaped D at frets 10, 11, and 12, F shape, and that's first inversion. Then we go up to frets 14, 15, 16 for the second inversion of D, and that is a D-shaped D. Exact same notes as your low down D chord that you know well. So I know that's a lot of material to take in, and if you haven't read on page 94 all about inversion transfusion, it would be a good idea to do that. I just sort of touched on things. So now we'll do on the next track, we'll do a talk through of inversion transfusion.